Hello. Hello. Today we're going to talk about how to manifest anything instantly. Manifest anything instantly. And happy Halloween. So, hello. If you guys can hear me, please let me know in the chat. Again, today we're going to talk about how to manifest anything instantly. That is the topic for today's live. And yes, you can manifest anything instantly. And chances are you probably already have seen certain things manifest very, very quickly. So, what I want to talk about today is I want to share with you guys what's required for instant manifestation. Okay, what's required? What do you need to have in order to get an instant manifestation? Because if you have these things in place, then everything's going to snap into focus very quickly, often instantaneously. All right. So these are important things to understand. And yeah, again, please let me know if you guys can hear me. Sometimes I get rambling and then time goes by and nobody hears me. But real quick, hello everybody for signing in here. Hi, Abundant Queen. Hi, Genevieve. Oh, you got the relax and let go course. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying that, Genevieve. Thank you. My lovely assistant Mary is here. Mary Flowers. Thank you, Valerie, for the super. Thank you, Blogger XO, for the super. It looks like you have a question. I'll answer that one in a few. Okay, I'll come back to that. I want to jump in real quick though with our first thing that you have to understand about manifesting instantly. So this is the first thing you need to have in place. I'm going to talk about 4 things in the course of this video, but this is the first thing. And this is the thing that it's shocking to me sometimes that people are almost unaware of this, okay, which I'm not quite sure why. So it needs to be said, even though it's super obvious, you have to have believability. Believability, okay? This is very, very important, is that there needs to be a sense that this is an achievable dream. That idea has to somehow be in your mind. Now, this kind of speaks to limitations. And so a lot of times people get frustrated with the law of attraction because they learn about it and they want to attract something really fantastic. But in their mind, they don't yet believe it. Okay. And so if you don't believe your dream is possible, then you are going to manifest something instantaneously. And that's going to be the lack of your dream, because the universe is going to deliver to you what you believe. And if you believe that your dream's not possible, it cannot snap into focus. All right. It will literally be held out of view until you believe. And so this is a very important thing to understand. Now, when I think about this particular element of instant manifestation, it reminds me of how I ended up in this community that I live in now. Okay. So before I lived here, I lived in a different town that was not affluent. Okay. And I always wanted to move here because this is like the nice area in the county that I live in Florida. So I always wanted to move here. But I did not believe that that was possible. I did not believe that I could live in a gated community. I did not believe that I could live in it. I didn't believe I was that kind of a person. And so early on, when I was learning about the law of attraction, I wanted to move into a new house. I really did. And I wanted to move into a gated community. I really did. And I wanted to move into this particular city. But I didn't believe that I was that kind of a person. And so I was able to manifest a home, another home, in a similar part of town that I was currently living in that was in a gated community, but it wasn't here because I didn't yet believe that I had what it took to be in this kind of a community. All right. And that lasted for a long time. But there was a period of time where suddenly my mind opened up and I'm like, you know what? I bet I could live in that nice side of town. I bet I could manifest that. And a chain of events happened so quickly that got me out of that town and into this town. It was like the moment that I believed, the door opened up. We found this particular location. This house was being built. We were able to get it. We were able to move quite quickly. It all happened very, very quick. But that dream that I had to live in this community lasted a long time until it actually came true. I want to say It was probably about 10 years that I wanted to live here in this community. And in the instant that I finally believed that I could, a doorway opened for me to get here. And so this is a very important thing to understand with your dream is that if you don't believe it's possible, it's not going to happen. Now, that doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means you got to open your mind. You got to open your mind to the possibility that it can happen. All right. So this is absolutely essential for instant manifestation is believability. That's our first element. There are three more that we're going to be talking about today. And of course, if you guys have questions, please go ahead and drop them into the chat. More than happy to answer some of those. I know I've got a super here. I got to answer real quick from Blogger XO. Again, thank you for the super. Thanks again, Valerie, for the super. Blogger XO, hi, Andrea. Do you do any specific anti-aging things? Okay, you look amazing. And I'm sure I speak for others when I say we need your tips and tricks. So you want law of attraction advice or you want like beauty stuff? Okay, so I'll give you both. So for the law of attraction, so one of the things that I do, I want to look good too. So I mean, I use the law of attraction for all kinds of stuff. I like to focus on what I like about my appearance every day. Okay, so a lot of people, when you look in the mirror, you'll be critical about the things that you don't like, or if you're aging, you'll be looking at certain wrinkles or certain age spots or things that you don't like. And when we focus on the things that we don't like or the aging aspects of ourselves, then that accelerates the aging process. And so what I like to do instead is I like to look at myself for the features that I do like and then also what appears to be youthful about me. I also do affirm to myself that I'm youthful, that I'm like forever young. That's something that I will tell myself on a regular basis. So there's a law of attraction advice for you. Um Anti-aging things. I use some serums and stuff. I like hyaluronic acid. My girlfriend got me into what's it called? Tretinoin. That stuff's pretty good. Yeah. And then lots of like body oils. I like body oils too. All right, very good. Hi, Guillaume. Hi, Impactful Gems. Happy Halloween from DeBerry. Thank you, homesteading agent. Okay. I'll answer one more question. I'm going to jump into my next point here. Mathish? Oh, I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Here's the question though. If I want to manifest a loving relationship, should I imagine a specific person or is it more of having the feeling of a loving relationship? Well, you can go either way. Um, what I would do if you want to manifest a loving relationship is I would be practicing loving relationships all the time. Okay, so you want to get into the vibration of being somebody who can connect with somebody in a loving way. So that comes very naturally for you. And so when you are dealing with people, whether casually, friends, family, whomever, you want to be focused on appreciation of whomever you're dealing with and trying to think positively about the people that you're around. Another thing that's very helpful is that when you're around people, focusing on fun and having fun with people. Now, the reason why this is important, particularly when people are trying to get involved in romantic relationships, is that frequently in romantic relationships, we get insecure, I think might be the right word, where we're looking at that other person for their approval, or we're nervous or we're anxious about hanging out with them. And so that can get us off on the wrong energetic foot with somebody vibrationally, where instead of coming into union in a very loving and powerful and positive way, we walk into these potential relationships in a state of anxiety and stress, which can cause that relationship to grow in anxiety and stress. So you always want to be mindful that when you first meet people, you're really focused on sharing the idea that I like this person. These are the things I like about them. We're having fun together. We're having a good time, and placing your emphasis in that area so that every relationship that you have can blossom, and in particular, those romantic relationships. All right. Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Nice to see you guys. Good morning, Mike. Hello. Over here on Facebook as well today. Hello, Rebecca. Hello. Is it Jenilyn? Hello. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Okay, so let's get into our next point here. Okay, so again, today we're talking about manifest anything instantly, and you can manifest anything instantly. There is no dream that you're not allowed to have. Okay, that's not the way that it works. But there's certain things that need to be in place in order to get the instant manifestation experience. So the first one we talked about was believability. Okay, so if the believability isn't there, it's not going to happen because the universe is going to give you what you believe. So if you believe you can't have it, you won't have it. Okay, so we have to remember that believability is important. But even if you have believability, this next thing also needs to be in place. Okay, and so this next one is a state of being unbothered about the outcome. Okay, and so somebody was mentioning that they joined the new detachment course. This is what we're talking about with detachment. You have to have a very unbothered attitude, meaning I could take it or leave it. It'll come when it comes. Who cares? Now, this is another thing that's often a hang up for people that prevents them from manifesting or from having the instant manifestation experience is that they're very much looking for the outcome, or they feel that they need the outcome to come, or they feel like there's a deadline in place they have to reach. And whenever we have that kind of an attitude, we're not in that state of detachment. We are feeling bothered. We are feeling anxious. We are feeling stressed. And so, what that does is it prevents the dream from manifesting. Okay, so there's kind of like this paradox with the law of attraction. The moment you don't really need it anymore or care if it comes, that's when it comes. Okay, and you guys can probably see this very clearly that there's been lots of things in your life that the second you stop caring, that's when it showed up. Well, that's that element of unbothered. So to have that instant manifestation experience, not only do you need to believe that your dream is possible, but you also have to have that state of, I don't really care if it comes or not. Okay, that's very, very important. And this is something that a lot of people do struggle with because they feel like they need to think about it, they need to hold on to it. All right, so you need to keep that in mind. Now, one thing that I like to use as an example for this has to do with sicknesses. And maybe you guys have had this experience, maybe you haven't, but if you have, go ahead and share with everybody in the comments in the chat. But with sicknesses, this is something I've seen a lot. Okay, if you ever get like a cold coming on, or a sickness coming on, if you can develop very quickly an attitude of, I don't care if I get sick or not, the sickness will just go away. This has happened to me plenty of times. Okay, so before I understood this concept, if I would feel a cold coming on, maybe I felt my throat getting tingly, I could tell I was starting to get sick, I would start to get very bothered and very attached to the idea that I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. Please let me manifest health. Let me manifest health. I don't want to get sick. And in that moment, I needed the outcome to happen. I needed to not get sick. And when we become clingy like that to needing something to happen, we don't get what we want. We get the opposite. All right. And so trying to make myself be healthy would result in me getting sick. But learning how to harness this has been very helpful. So if I feel a cold coming on or some kind of a sickness coming on, I will do my darndest to become unbothered about it. And so I'll say things to myself like, well, you know what? I guess I get to take a few days off of work. I guess I get to catch up on Netflix this week. That'll be nice. You know what? I didn't really feel like going to those things this week anyway. It's fine. You know what? Maybe I'll lose a couple pounds. I'll sit there and tell myself stuff like that as to why, if I'm sick, it's fine, so that I become unbothered with being sick. I stop being resistant about it. And then lo and behold, the next day I wake up and the little tickle's gone and I'm fine. Okay, so that's how the unbothered thing works. You have to be really, really okay with the thing that you want, taking its sweet time or not coming at all. That's the trick. That's the paradox to get it to come quickly, is to need it to not come at all. Okay, so that's the second thing that has to be in place for instant manifestation. Super important thing to understand. All right. Yeah, and a quick shameless plug here while we're sitting here. Just a reminder that if you have not yet, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook. I do lives like this every single week, and I love seeing you guys. So please make sure to follow along with me. Additionally, if you are new to my work here and you haven't yet taken my manifesting test, I would highly recommend that you do it. This is a very quick 5-minute test where you can put something out and watch it come back and prove to yourself that you really are the creator of your reality. You don't need to take my word for it. You can prove it to yourself. And so to take that test, you can go to manifestingtest.com. Again, that's manifestingtest.com. My lovely assistant, Mary, I'm sure will drop that into the chat if you'd like a direct link, but manifestingtest.com is where you can go at any time. All right, so there's my little plug for you. Let's see if we've got any more questions here for you guys, and then we'll get back into the topic for today. Hi, Zaid. Nice to see you guys on Facebook. Hello. Sajid. Hi, I am continuously trying to settle in abroad with a good job, having a capable education, but I am not getting anything smooth. It gets delayed and delayed every time. Okay. So in that situation, we're needing it to happen, right? So the more that we need it to happen quickly, the more it's going to take its time. So just kind of what we were talking about with the unbothered attitude, what you want to do in a situation where there are delays is you want to make peace with delays. You want to make peace with the delay. So you want to make it okay for it to take a long time, because what that will allow you to do is to release the resistance and to cultivate that state of being unbothered. Okay. So what I mean by that is I want you to think about, why is it benefiting you for it to take longer? Are there things that you get to do in your current situation that you won't be able to do there? Are there benefits to where you're currently at that you can continue to enjoy? Okay. And if we have to go ahead and move quickly, I'm going to lose those particular benefits. Okay, so the example that I like to give a lot is like with getting pregnant, because this is one that just comes to the top of my head. I know that's not what you're asking, but if a woman's trying to get pregnant, it's not happening, not happening, not happening. It's really helpful for her to sit there and think about, well, why is it a good thing if I don't get pregnant right now? Well, now I'm not going to gain any weight for a while. I can go to that wedding next week and look really cute. I can drink on the weekends. Like, she can sit there and think about, what are the positive things that are coming from the delay? Okay, because we don't want to say to the universe is, I don't want to delay, I don't want to delay, I don't want to delay, because the delay will persist. If instead we say, okay, delay is fine, I don't care, now we're unbothered, the door opens and the thing that you want can come. Good question. Good question. Hi, Jessica. I never get to catch your lives. I always watch them after, so you're happy to pop in and say hi. You have to work. Hello, Jessica. Thanks for popping in. Our family adventure asks, we want to move back to Florida and I can't find a community I want to live in. Any recommendations in that area? Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of good places in Florida. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're going for the beach, usually the beach communities are nice. So I live near Melbourne, Florida, which is really nice. I think Brevard County is really nice, the area that I live in, because we have it's a nice area because we don't have any major cities here, so you can get around pretty easily, but we have access to major cities. So you can get to Orlando in an hour, you can get to Daytona pretty quickly, you can get to South Florida pretty quickly, you can get to Disney pretty quickly, you can get to the beaches right here. So I personally, I like where I live, which is Brevard County, but no surprise there. So come be my neighbor. All right, guys, again, today we're talking about, you can manifest anything instantly with the law of attraction, but you do need to have a few things in place in order to do that. The first one is believability. The second one is that state of being unbothered. Here's the third thing you need to have in order to accomplish instant manifestation. Okay. Hopefully this one is intuitive for you. But even if you have believability, And even if you are in a state of being unbothered, you do need to have a high vibration to manifest instantly, meaning that in the moment, you need to be in a pretty good mood. Okay. So the reason why this is important is that even if you believe in positive things, when you're in a crummy mood, you're really only going to attract crummy things. Okay. And so maybe you guys have seen this before. Like if you wake up and you're having a bad day, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And this is because when we're in a low vibration, we're resonating in a place of not feeling good. We're resonating in a place of, I don't like the way things are going. And so we start to attract to ourselves more things that we don't like. And things that we would like, that we do believe in, will stay out of reach during that time. Maybe you guys have seen this. So like maybe you're generally pretty lucky and things are going pretty well for you in an area, like maybe your career or your relationship. But the second your vibration tanks, so does the career, so does the relationship. The fun kind of comes out of it. Problems start to emerge in the departments in your life. And so it's very critical that if you want to have an instantaneous manifestation, that you are in a high vibration. And so high vibration is really just a state of joy, happiness, feeling good. Right. And so it's very important that if we want to manifest good things throughout the course of our day, that we're really dialed into focusing on maintaining a high vibration as much as possible. Focusing on maintaining a high vibration is going to enable you to attract a lot of really great stuff quickly, even things that you're not intending on, because you're a match to them. Okay. Super important. Now, when I first learned this, like for real, it's pretty soon after I learned the law of attraction. And it became very obvious to me just how powerful this was. We were visiting some friends, and our friends had young children, and we had young children. And, they were like toddlers and 5-year olds. And so they're running around acting like crazy, crazy kids and being loud. And it was very chaotic. And it was one of those situations where there was just a bunch of kids in a house screaming and we're all getting stressed out. Okay. It was a long story short. And I could tell that I was getting stressed out. I was getting irritable. I was getting cranky with my husband. My girlfriend was getting cranky with me. We were all just in a bad mood because these kids are screaming and it was too much. So in that moment, I realized that my vibration was not high. It had gone way down. And so I did the only thing I could think of was to go outside and to get away from the noise. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to sit out here until my vibration goes back up. That's it. So I sat outside on their patio. I looked at their plants. I did some deep breathing and I started to feel better and better and better. And when I really felt better, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back inside. And I walked back in through their sliding door on their patio. And inside, my friend is standing there and she looks at me and she smiles and she comes over and gives me a big hug. And she's like, I'm just so glad that you're here. And it was crazy because like 10 minutes ago, we were like cranky and not happy with each other. And I walk in, I get this giant hug, and the house is quiet instantly. The only thing that changed was that I went outside and I got my vibration up. Totally changed the paradigm. So do not underestimate the power of your vibration. Very, very important. If things aren't going your way, if you're not manifesting the things that you want, that's the easiest thing that you can do to start turning things around is just to go focus on getting yourself back into your happy place. Super, super important. Gentleman asks how to raise your vibration. So many different things you can do. The big thing is to just ask yourself what would feel better right now. Okay. So if I'm doing something right now that's stressing me out, what could I do right now that would feel better? That's reasonable. Okay. So maybe I'm hungry. I could go eat. I could go take a nap, go for a walk, watch something funny. This is a question, by the way, you always want to have at the forefront of your mind throughout the course of your day. How could I feel better? What could I be doing right now that would feel better? The more you ask yourself that, the more you're naturally going to be doing things that put you into alignment with a higher vibration. And it will become habitual for you to just naturally be leaning into things that are going to elevate your energetic state. Okay, so your vibration is really just your mood. Okay, so we got to be focused on how do we improve our mood. So it's not always meditation. It's not always a sandwich. Okay. It's a moving target. Depending on where you are, different things will bring you joy. But give yourself that opportunity to say, of the things that I could be doing right now that are reasonable, which one would bring me the most relief or make me feel the best? And give yourself permission to go do that as much as you can. Tracy, I just lost my mom. I'm trying to stay positive and raise my vibration, journaling 5 things I'm grateful for every day. Well, I'm sorry for your loss, Tracy. You know what I would say is when it comes to grief, it's helpful not to fight the grief. And I want to say that because a lot of times with people learn about the law of attraction and they become very focused on, I have to be happy, I have to be in a high vibration. Okay. Rather, and it's not okay that I'm grieving right now and I shouldn't be sad. Now, when we fight against negative feelings, unfortunately, we get more anchored into them. So if you're sad, it's okay. I'm allowed to be sad for as long as I'm sad. I'm allowed to grieve. Give yourself the opportunity to do that because then you won't be fighting against it so much and it will be easier for you to get out of it. Okay. So it's okay if you go through times where you're not in your highest vibration, but fighting against it is going to make it more challenging for you. So I'm glad that you brought that up because when we talk about raising our vibration, it's not mandatory that you do this. Okay, you're you're allowed to be upset when you're upset. Okay, so give yourself permission to go through those emotions. All emotions serve a positive function. Coral petals, thank you. My home is lovely. Thank you so much. Rachel, I live near your sibling. Baby oil. I'm sorry. No, I wasn't trying to make a P. Diddy reference with the oils. Mm. Okay. Nene, I would like to manifest clients who are ready to work with me and have the money. I've been getting lots of broke people, even though my ad says you should be making over 30,000 a month. Why might that be? Are you entertaining these broke people? Yeah, I mean, what I would be doing is like just don't get upset about them. I okay, so I would kind of if there were in that situation, there's a couple of things might want to focus on. The positive is people are responding to my ad. Okay, so I would be taking the positive out of that and focusing on that. People are responding to my ad. They're responding to my ad. People are responding to my ad because the more you emphasize people are responding to my ad, the more you're going to get people. Now, don't say broke people are responding to my ad because if a focus is on broke people are responding, broke, then you're going to get more broke people. Okay, so be more general about that. But I would affirm to the universe people are responding to my ad, must be a good ad. People are responding to it. People are responding to it. Amplify that. Okay. The other thing is, you know, if and when a broke person comes in, no big deal. Okay, next, don't dwell on it. If somebody walks in the door, maybe they're not making 30, but they're not broke, maybe they're making 10 a month. Hey, we're moving in the right direction. Okay. This person's got more money. This person, okay. You see what I'm saying? Like you want to focus on what's working to amplify that. It just sounds like you probably got a couple people that did not hit your target that came in the door and you became fixated on that. And then now we've got too many people that are coming in that are the wrong target. So instead, we want to isolate out what is working. And when you see people that, even if it's a small improvement in their income, maybe they're not at 30, but instead of making $1,000 a month, now they're making 2,000. Well, that's a step in the right direction. I'm attracting people who make more money now. I'm attracting people who make more money now to get that to go up. I hope that makes sense. Derek Williams, I have no problem manifesting small amounts of money, but I have been trying unsuccessfully to manifest a lot of money for a long time. How can I fix this, please? Thanks. Okay, so kind of the same thing. So with amounts, okay, it's not black and white. Okay, so this is kind of the thing we want to understand is that when we're working with the energy of manifesting, you can take wherever you are and you can make it grow. But if I'm sitting here looking at, I'm manifesting $5 and it's small, and I want to manifest 5 million and it's huge, and it's very black and white, it's going to be challenging for us to believe. And again, that's the first thing. Remember that first thing about the instant manifestation, there needs to be believability, right? Very hard to believe in that 5 million if I'm only attracting 5. Okay. So, what we want to do in a situation like that is we don't want to fight against what's working. Okay. So, a lot of times when people are attracting smaller, quote unquote, smaller amounts of money, they are attracting them, but they're upset about it. It's 5, but I wanted 100. It's only 5. Then I'm upset about it. What we want to do instead is we want to celebrate what we are getting. And the more, oh, I got another 5, I got another 5, and if you get a 6, oh my gosh, it went up. Now I'm getting 6. Oh, it went to 10. Do you see what I'm saying? You want to take what you have and be excited about that to get it to grow rather than the amounts that you're getting beating up on them. This is something a lot of people do, very common, but it keeps you in a situation where you'll have those smaller amounts coming in because we're fighting them. We're not celebrating them. And I'm glad you brought that up because that brings my next point here about manifesting anything instantly. Okay. So this is the next thing we need to keep in mind if you want to manifest instantly. And it ties right into that, what we were just talking about there, is that you have to be in a state of having. Okay. This is an important thing to understand. If we are focused on lack, even if we believe we could get it, but in that moment we're focused on lack, it won't come our way. Okay, so it's a directional thing. Am I focused on things are getting better, things are improving, I am abundant, things are working out for me? Or in the moment, am I focused on this isn't working, this isn't what I wanted, this wasn't enough? Okay, so it's the having versus the not having. Where is the mind looking in the moment? You will always find that when you have an instant manifestation for something that you really want, you were in that state of having. You were in that state of appreciation where you were feeling abundant in some capacity. Maybe you were appreciating your friends, or you were appreciating your job, or you were appreciating your money, but you had this feeling of, I have, I have, I have. That's a very important thing that we have to be cultivating. And the beautiful thing about having a vibration is you can cultivate that vibration anywhere you are simply by focusing on what you have. So it doesn't matter if it's $5 or 5 million. I have 5, I have 5, I have 5, rather than I don't have 5 million. That's the distinction. What do I have? I have 5, I have 5. When you focus on having 5, you attract more of the 5. Now I got 10, now I got 20, now I got 1,000. Got it? So be mindful of that. A lot of times when people are not getting results quickly, it's because they're focused on lack rather than having. What do you have? And again, you don't need to focus on having your target. It doesn't have to be, I have 5 million. It's what do I actually have now? And that's another distinction, because a lot of times the content that's out there will tell you to focus on feeling like you have it now. And people get confused about that because, well, I don't have the private jet now. I don't have the mansion now. I don't have the perfect spouse right now. I don't have that. So how am I supposed to feel that? You don't need to feel that. Okay. You need to have the vibration of having on whatever level you currently have. Okay. So abundance is on a sliding scale. Love is on a sliding scale. Housing is on a sliding scale. Career is on a sliding scale. I may not have the career I want, but I do have a career or a direction or an idea or an interest or a hobby or a passion. I have that. I don't have the spouse that I want, but I do have relationships with these people and these people and these people. You see? So you have to be focused in on that vibration of having. Okay, so that's another really important thing that has to be in place. So these are the concepts we want in place. And when all 4 of those are working in tandem, the things that you want will show up. So if you get it in your mind that, okay, I'd like to manifest a trip or a car or a home or a this or a that, when all 4 of those things are in place, believability, that state of being unbothered, high vibration, and focused on having, that's when it all clicks. So this is important to understand, because if there's something that you want that is not coming, you should be able to identify which of those 4 areas, or are there multiple that are in the way? Like, have I been in a crummy mood for a while? Or do I just not believe it? Or am I bothered about it? Like, what's getting in the way? That'll help you kind of remedy and tweak so that you can stop pushing the dream away, or better said, holding it at a distance. Because anything that you want can come right away. It's just a question of, are those 4 things in place? Are those 4 pillars in place in order to allow you to receive the thing that you want? And if you guys got questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them into the chat. Oh, and another quick shameless plug. Quick reminder, I do, if you like this video, if you like these lives, I do make lots of courses on lots of different law of attraction topics. So if you're interested in seeing more of what I have to offer, I've got courses on relationship, abundance, detachment, how to manifest quickly, fitness, weight loss, all kinds of stuff. And a big range of prices too. So I've got short audios that are $17 all the way up to like mega courses that are pretty expensive. Okay, so there's a range. But I do have a nice large library of downloads and courses that you can look at. Mary, if you'd go ahead and drop the link for that into the chat, I would appreciate it if you're interested in looking at those. Because y'all know I got to do a couple plugs. Anna, it's a huge mystery to me how some people complain about the lack of money, even though I see money flowing easily to them. Yeah, right. Like once you get it, you'll see people doing this. I see it here sometimes. I'm like, are these people out of their minds? You're driving a Mercedes and you got a golf cart, and what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? But at any point in time can get focused on lack. They can. So even if somebody gets to a place where they're attracting a lot of money, if they get into that lack vibration, they can screw it up. I've seen plenty of people screw it up. Ken, how does one break down the resistance? I have moments where I can manifest smaller things. However, I struggle with believing. I want to be financially free, but I feel controlled by my bank account. Yeah. Well, let's talk finances because it's kind of we're kind of general, but then we go a little specific here. I want to be financially free, but I feel controlled by my bank account. Well, one of the big things for that is to start making decisions less about money. So, and this is what I did. Okay, that was very helpful for me because I used to look at prices a lot, and I used to make choices on what I was going to buy based on how much something cost. So you can train yourself not to make choices that way. The easiest way is to start to not look at price for as many things as you can. So especially starting with like the smaller things. So like smaller grocery items, or when you go to the gas pump to buy gas. Okay, if you go to a convenience store and pick up a snack, train yourself to not even look at the price and just ask yourself, what do I want? What is it that I want? I want the Twix bar. I want the M&Ms. But which one do I want? So that I'm making a choice on what I want, regardless of the price. I don't even know what the price is. Now, this is one that you play with momentum. So you start with smaller things and then you build it up. So now I do it with things like clothing, or I do it with things like trips. I do it with bigger things. Where do I want to go? It's not a question of how much does it cost to get there. Where do I want to go? Okay. Which shoes do I want? It's not a question of how much they cost. I get the ones that I want. So I try to train myself not to look at the price as much as possible. Now, some people would be worried that if you don't look at the price, then you're going to spend too much money and you're going to run out of money. But what actually happens is if you play this game properly, okay, start small and let it build, what's going to happen is you're going to attract more money to yourself to enable you to get the things that you want regardless of price. Okay? So that's what I would be focusing on, is that if I feel controlled by my bank account, I'm looking at the bank account too much, I'm looking at prices too much, I'm making way too many choices based on what does the money say rather than what do I say. Because true freedom is you making choice regardless of what the bank account says. So it may be hard to do that with a car purchase right now or a home purchase right now, and that's fine. Practice where you can with smaller things so you get comfortable with that vibration, and it will bleed into higher and higher amounts where you'll find yourself buying things that really surprise you because they're very different than what you would have allowed yourself to get before. And not only that, you have plenty of money to pay for them. Okay. I hope that's helpful because that was very helpful for me. Chloe on Facebook here. Can our manifestation involve a specific person or a random person who would embody specific qualities that we wish? Can it involve, like, can you get a specific person? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, like, if you're in a state where you know what you want, certain qualities that you want in a person, when you're in the right place, they show up. Okay. So, like, I've got a fun group of girlfriends that live near me. And in my mind, okay, so I'm big into astrology. Okay, full disclosure. Whether or not you are or not, that doesn't matter. Okay, but I'm way into astrology, and so I really get along well with certain types of signs that are, especially with women, moon placement signs. Okay, are really good matches for me, and so I'm a Leo moon, and so women who are also fire moon, so Leos, Sagittariuses, and Aries moons, I've always really clicked with very well that I've noticed. So I kind of knew that in my mind that if I was going to make any friends in this area, I would want to make friends that had those particular moon signs. And when I moved here, lo and behold, like two of my neighbors are both, one of them's a Sagittarius moon, one's an Aries moon. So we have three moons, boom, like right together. Okay. So that was something that I kind of focused on, was that if I'm going to have friends in this area, I would like to see women that have these moon signs. And being in that state of having those four things in place allowed those women to show up with those particular characteristics. So I've seen that. And that's not to say I got a problem with your moon sign if you're not a Sagittarius or an Aries or a Leo. Just that I tend to get along really well with fire moon women. Ange asks, "Hi, Andrea. Every time I manifest extra money, an extra expense shows up. What am I doing wrong?" Well, first of all, you're not doing anything wrong. Okay. I want to say that because people ask me, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Quick little side lesson. What am I doing right? Okay. I'm learning. Okay. Every time I manifest extra money, an extra expense shows up. Well, we're expecting expenses. We're probably worried about losing the money. We're probably worried about the money going out. We're probably pushing against the expenses. Expenses are bad. I don't like expenses. Okay. So anytime that we place a negative label on something, we get the negative manifestation or the negative experience from it. So if I don't like expenses and an expense comes and I get upset or I get frustrated or I get stressed about it, I will make myself more of a magnet to more expenses. So the real trick is you need to find a way to make peace with expenses and be thankful for them. I know it sounds weird, but this is how we get to that unbothered place where we don't care if we get an expense. So the desired outcome is I would rather not have expenses. Okay. I'd rather have less expenses. That's what you want. So you have to develop this unbothered attitude. Again, that was point number 2 for our instant manifestation. The unbothered attitude of I don't care whether an expense comes or not. To get to that place, we have to make peace with expenses. So why are expenses a good thing? Why are they a positive thing? Why are they not a bad thing? Okay, so here's some of the ways that I work through this one because I think back to when I was working through that. So, you don't like getting bills, you don't like getting that kind of stuff. Think about, isn't it nice to be able to compensate somebody for a product or a service? Like if somebody makes something, so like I get lots of compliments on this shirt. I don't know why, but everyone always compliments it. And someone did on here too. Okay. Someone made this shirt. Okay. And I paid money for it. But isn't it nice that they're compensated for doing that? Don't I want them to be compensated for that? Okay. Don't I want to reciprocate? Don't I want to put my abundance back into the world? Isn't that a good thing? Okay. So I would think about that because I used to get really bent out of shape about bills. But when I started to think of it that way, well, it's really nice that the lawn guys come every week. I mean, they do a lot of work. I'm glad they're getting paid as much as they should. I don't want them to not get paid. They're not going to want to come here. Okay, think of it that way. So that when the expenses come up, you're okay with it. Well, you know what? I'm going to pay the money. I'm happy to pay it rather than I don't want these expenses. When you're happy to pay them, you'll get less of them because now what you're saying is expenses are a positive experience, not a negative one. And so you're going to start to have a positive experience from expenses rather than a negative one, meaning you'll be a match to less ones that you don't want and you're going to feel okay about the ones that you have and you're going to attract more money in spite of the expenses anyway, so you're always going to be at a net positive. Okay? So we want to not fight against the expenses. That's the big thing. Michael, so is changing your belief as simple as changing your thoughts and what you tell yourself? And since your beliefs usually develop over time, won't it take time to change? It is as simple as changing your thoughts and what you tell yourself. It can take time for beliefs to change. Yeah, because you are right. A lot of times some of the beliefs that we have are really built up. So they're things that we were taught when we were babies or children. And so some of that stuff can kind of really get stuck in there. You will find though, like if you're properly motivated, sometimes you can have very quick changes in belief. And what I mean by that is if you can suddenly realize how much what you're thinking is holding you back, it can make it real easy for you to get on board with a new idea. So this is helpful. It's like if you can tell that you have a limiting belief that's holding you back, sit there and think about how much it's holding you back. Seriously. Like what is it preventing you from having? How much misery is it bringing into your life? Like sit there and actually think about that. Now, you may think what I'm telling you to do is going to amplify negative feelings. What I'm teaching you here though is to accurately assess that this belief is no good for me. We're always going to try and move in a direction that we feel is best for us. This is why people like to eat ice cream and do drugs, okay? Is because they believe that this thing is going to make me happier. This thing is going to make me feel better. And so when we identify that something is helping us or serving us, we lean on it. And this is true for all beliefs, including the very negative ones. So when you have a belief that you know isn't serving you, if you can sit there and get real clear about what that belief is actually doing to you, how much harm it's actually doing to you, how much pain it's actually causing you, how much suffering it's actually causing you, you're not going to want to stick with it as much. When you see it pop up, you're going to be kind of disgusted with it. Okay. So it's kind of like, I don't know, if you were to take a bowl of ice cream and pour a bunch of ketchup on it, it doesn't look that good because we're seeing all the nasty stuff on top of it. I don't want to eat that. That's how you're going to feel about the belief when you identify how much it's actually hurting you. Okay, so that's a great way to speed it up, changing the beliefs. Jillian, what's your thought on subliminals? I make my own on Parrot app and just play them late at night while sleeping. I think that's great. I like subliminals. I think that's a great idea. Just be mindful of how you construct them. Make sure that they're focused on the positive things that you actually want to identify. But yeah, I like to use sleepy time for programming in new ideas. My preferred method personally is what I like to do because I'm lazy. I don't want to make my own subliminals. But I like using audiobooks. So what I'll do is I read a lot of listen to a lot of audiobooks. When I find an audiobook that's like really inspiring or really uplifting, or I really feel the ideas in that book I really want to adopt after I listen to it live and I've kind of vetted it, then I may fall asleep to that book over and over and over again until that information just gets really in there. And so I like to do that frequently. And by frequently, I mean every night. All right. Oh, Geraldine's a Sag moon. We be friends, Geraldine? I like other moons too. I'm just saying I vibe really good with fire moons. Picket music. Hi, Andrea. I have old programming saying I don't get to have what I want, that life isn't meant to give it to me ever. Since I was a baby and a doomsday cult church can't seem to reprogram it. Yeah, I mean, if you were in a doomsday cult church, I think I've seen you talk about this before. I mean, then you had just like massive amounts of programming put on you. So go easy on yourself, first of all. In a situation like that, like if you guys come from like a situation of like serious abuse, there's this tendency, I think, to feel like you're never going to get out of it or you're always going to be damaged or okay. And so when we have that way of looking at it, that can kind of keep us stuck a little bit more. So what you want to focus on if you're coming out of trauma of really any kind, but especially extreme trauma like this, really focus on I'm improving. Okay, I'm improving because whatever you focus on expands. Okay, so I'm adopting more positive beliefs. My vibration is getting higher. I am becoming healthier. My mind is getting healthier. Focus on the improvement to allow the improvement to accelerate. Again, it's that same kind of idea is I want to be perfectly healthy and I'm seeing myself as not healthy. And I'm trying to bridge that gap in my mind. Well, you don't need to go from this to this. If you just focus on, I'm improving, I'm getting better, then that will grow. And your consciousness is going to get away from all of those thoughts, feeling that you're stuck where you came from. Okay, so a lot of this, when we're talking about shifting, a lot of it is where am I, and why is where am I good? Why am I already in a good place? Why am I already moving in a good direction rather than where I am isn't where I want to be? Because that's the lack of vibration that'll keep us stuck where we don't want to be. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. I grew up with some trauma, but it wasn't a doomsday cult church, so good grief. The Owl's Vision Tarot. Hi, Andrea. How do you manifest exactly what it is you want? I have this pattern where it comes to manifestation where I manifest a sign or the off brand of my manifestation, then nothing else. Okay, same thing. When you see a sign, when you see an indication, I'm moving in the right direction. I'm moving in the right direction. Not where is it yet? Why isn't it here yet? Why isn't it more? Why didn't the big thing come? Okay. The other key thing here that I haven't mentioned yet, be presently focused. Presently focused. Okay. So right now, if a sign comes, then right now, I'm manifesting good right now. Right now. Right now. Not, okay, a sign came. Is this going to come later where my mind projects into the future? You never manifest in the future. You only manifest in the present. So whatever's coming in the present, if it's a positive manifestation, we celebrate that as a win. I'm always manifesting positive in the present. I'm manifesting positive in the present. That will allow you to manifest more in your present moment and to get the ball rolling where the sign becomes another sign and then it comes rather than you see a sign and then you say, yeah, but where is it? And then it goes away. Okay, this is a common thing that happens. You start to see something working and then you go, yeah, but where is it? And in that moment that you say that, what you're saying is it's not here yet. Okay. And then that momentum dies because the law of attraction will match you. Okay. So if I'm saying it's not here yet, then it stops coming. Okay. So this is an important thing to understand. I know we get excited, like we start seeing it coming. We're like, okay, I'm getting excited. Where is it? But that where is it moment, that's the moment that will push it away. So instead, we just want to celebrate. Okay, I'm doing a good job with my vibration right now. I'm moving in the good direction right now. And I'm unbothered because who cares when it's going to come? It'll come today, tomorrow, what the unbothered piece. Okay, that's we got to dial in on that with that one. Nina, I want to manifest money, but the feeling of lack is so intense. How can I change this? I try robotic affirming for 1 month now. Okay, put that one down. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So as soon as a manifesting technique feels like I've been doing this forever, put it down. Okay. But having versus lack. Don't try to focus on getting the $5 million. Okay. We want to just, if we're feeling lack too much, just put that out of your mind for right now. Whatever the big target is, just put it out of your mind. What do I have now? Okay. And then focus on that. I have $5. I have $10. I've got 20 in the bank. I've got gas in my car. I've got food in my fridge. What do I have? What do I have? What do I have? Focusing on the having. Again, that was the fourth principle I gave you guys for the instant manifestation. You got to be in that state. What do I have? Rather than what isn't here yet. Okay, so when people want to manifest money, again, they're usually looking at, I want $1 million and I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. So that's lack, lack, lack. Okay, that keeps us stuck in the lack vibration. So instead, come back down to earth. Okay, what do I actually tangibly have now? Because you can affirm what you actually have and believe it. Okay, I don't know what you've been affirming, but if you've been affirming, I have $1 million and you don't actually have $1 million, that can cause crossing of the wires up here, because what will happen is I'm affirming I have this thing, but in your mind, you're like, yeah, but I don't have it. But I don't have it. But I don't have it. And so affirmations, when we affirm that we have things that we don't actually have, can often have the opposite effect, because we're actually practicing, yeah, but I don't have it. But I don't have it. So instead, again, come back down to earth. What do I have? Celebrate what you have. And then that will start to pick up momentum. Okay. You'll start to get more. More will start to come in the door. Extra $5 comes in, celebrate it. More comes. Okay. You get out of that state and you start feeling better about money, then we can ask for something bigger. It can come quickly. But for now, we just want to get back into that state of having, because that's critical. You got to be in the having vibration to attract what you want instantaneously. Ed and Neri, you like that the lose a few pounds quickly? Yeah, I like that one. I mean, I'm not overweight, but it's always fun to lose a couple pounds, not do anything. Polymer Jones, you rip my YouTube videos and put them as MP3s. Nice. That's like quite a compliment. Thank you. Genevieve, you said once you believed you would live in your community, it happened. After not believing it for so long, what happened to make you believe it finally? Well, if I remember correctly, because that was a while ago, but I was kind of in a state, well, I was in a place where I had been doing, when we go through those periods of time, do you guys ever go through this? Where you go through a period of time where you really kind of focused on self-care and taking care of yourself. And it was one of those times where I was really like, all right, I'm just going to get more focused in on me. And, just becoming in a state where I was feeling a lot more positive and optimistic about things. And I remember having the thought that came to my mind was like, if those people up there can do it, I could do it, because I know the law of attraction. I remember having that thought. I'm not sure exactly why that thought came into my mind, but what I will say is that when you guys work on your vibration, because again, that's one of our components here for getting instant manifestation. When you raise your vibration, you become a magnet for all kinds of things that help you sustain the vibration, and that includes thoughts. Okay, so these things work together. So when you raise your vibration, you're naturally going to start to believe more positively, and you're naturally going to start to draw to yourself more empowering ideas. Because I remember when that idea came. Well, if they could move into those houses, of course I could. I know about the law of attraction. I get the law. Of course, if these people can move into these homes, why couldn't I? I remember having that thought. Okay. Netta ma'am, I want my specific person to propose to me. What should I manifest? Do you want, what should you do? Decide it's okay if they don't. Be indifferent. Be indifferent to the proposal. A lot of people hold those proposals back because they need them to happen so quick. It's gonna be a lot easier if you're like, propose or don't propose. I don't care. Unbothered. Unbothered. All right, guys. Again, remember, if you have not yet, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook. I do come here and do lives very frequently, and I love talking to you guys. It's been a lot of fun today. Happy Halloween. I hope you guys have fun. If, well, some countries that are here today, if you do not celebrate Halloween, I'm sorry, but if you're in if you're in the United States, happy Halloween. Hope you guys have fun tonight. And I'm going to be back next Thursday with another live. So make sure to come back and see me then. But other than that, it's about time for me to hop off. Thank you so much for joining. And of course, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. All right, bye-bye.